Hey there, it's me just sitting here, thinking back on a wild ride that started with a single, desperate decision, a $20 bid that changed my life. Picture this. I'm Emma Carter, 7 months pregnant, standing in the scorching sun at a storage unit auction in this dusty little town called Dustin, Ohio. I'd just lost my bookkeeping job company cutbacks. You know the drill, and my boyfriend, Jake, bailed with a text that said, "I'm not ready for this." Bills were piling up, my landlord was breathing down my neck, and I'm out here, one hand on my aching back, the other clutching a paddle, hoping for a miracle. So, there I am at this auction, surrounded by these grizzled pros with their clipboards, sizing up units like they're playing poker. The auctioneer, this big guy with a voice like a foghorn, yanks open Unit 117, and it's a mess of furniture, water-stained boxes, a crooked lamp that looks like it's seen better days. The pros scoff, muttering junk and waste of time, and they're already moving on to the next unit. But me? I don't know. Something pulls at me. Maybe it's the baby kicking. Maybe it's just blind hope. I raise my paddle and call out, $20. The crowd chuckles, like I'm some naive kid who just bought a pile of garbage. The auctioneer hands me the key, gives me a pitying look, and says, 3 days to clear it out, sweetheart. Good luck. I'm standing there, heart sinking, wondering what the hell I just did with my last $20. That night, I'm lying in my tiny apartment, bills screaming past due on the counter, and I'm thinking, Emma, you're an idiot. But I had to try something, right? I rent the cheapest truck I can find, beg my neighbor, old Mr. Thompson, to help with the heavy stuff, and we get to work. The unit's a maze of boxes and furniture, smelling like dust and forgotten dreams. We start sorting: sell, donate, trash. There's this gorgeous oak rocking chair, hand-carved, solid as a rock. Mr. Thompson wipes it down, says, "My sister paid $400 for one, not half this nice." My heart skips. Maybe this wasn't a total bust. We load it up, along with a wobbly end table and some other pieces that might fetch a few bucks. But the real game changer? Tucked under a faded quilt, I find this small wooden box, carved with vines and flowers, like something out of a fairy tale. I open it, and inside are yellowed photos, handwritten letters, and a tiny silver bracelet engraved with the name Clara. My fingers shake as I pick up a photo, a young woman, maybe 20, standing by a blooming tree. Her eyes, God, they look just like mine. Now, I'm not one for ghost stories or fate, but something about that photo hits me hard. The back says, Clara, Spring 74. I start reading the letters, addressed to my dearest Clara, from someone named Margaret in Cincinnati. They're full of cryptic stuff about your situation and tough choices. One letter mentions a baby Clara gave up, and my brain starts spinning. I was adopted, born in '82 at Riverside Hospital in Columbus, the same hospital listed on a birth certificate I find in the box for Clara and Wilson, born in '55. Could she be my birth mom? I call my adoptive mom, Janet, late that night. Mom, ever hear of a Clara Wilson? She pauses, then says, no, but your Aunt Susan mentioned a Clara once, some family drama way back. I track down Susan, who I haven't talked to since Dad's funeral when she and Mom fought over his estate. She picks up, voice cold, and when I mention Clara, she snaps. Why are you digging up old ghosts? That's got nothing to do with you, and hangs up. Her reaction? It's like a neon sign screaming, you're onto something. I'm juggling all this while my life's falling apart. My doctor's worried about my blood pressure. Preeclampsia is a real risk, and she's got me on partial bed rest. But I can't stop. I'm selling stuff online to keep the lights on, and that rocking chair sells for $350, enough to cover last month's rent. I'm feeling a tiny spark of control, but the bills keep coming, and I've got 2 days left to clear the unit or pay for another month I can't afford. That's when I call Henry Blake, this antique dealer who bought some of the furniture. He's a sweet old guy, all tweed and spectacles, and when I show him the wooden box, his eyes light up. Victorian, maybe worth something, he says, but these letters, this bracelet are personal. Someone hid these for a reason. He offers to dig into Clara's past, and I'm all in. Henry tracks down Clara's old friend, Ruth, a retired nurse in Springfield. I call her, heart pounding, and say, I think Clara Wilson might be my birth mom. Ruth gasps, oh, honey, you're the baby. She tells me Clara gave up 2 kids, one in '73 a girl, and me in 82. Clara was a nurse, never married, and carried this quiet grief for the kids she lost. Ruth says Clara's been fighting breast cancer, last seen in a clinical trial at Brighton Medical Center in Cleveland. I find a journal hidden in a nursing textbook Clara left behind, full of medical notes and raw emotion. Cancer's back. Thinking of my daughter. Should I keep searching? The last entry, 7 months ago, says she's still at Brighton, hoping I'd find her stuff someday. I'm 8 months pregnant now, and my doctor's like, no long trips, Emma. But I can't wait. I tracked down David Larson, Clara's college boyfriend, a chemistry professor in Columbus. I show up at his office, clutching those old love letters he wrote to Clara. He's stunned, says, I didn't know she kept these. When I tell him Clara's my birth mom, and he's likely my grandfather, he goes pale. She was pregnant when she vanished in 73. I never knew. A DNA test confirms it's my grandpa. We're both shook, but now we're a team, hell-bent on finding Clara. David drives me to Cleveland, my blood pressure cuff beeping warnings the whole way. At Brighton, we hit Wall's hospital privacy rules, but we get to DR. Simmons, Clara's oncologist. I show him the letter Clara left for me, tucked in that box. My dearest daughter, if you're reading this, you followed the breadcrumbs I left. Simmons softens, says, she's alive, in long-term care, but she's frail. We walk into her room, and there she is, Clara, white-haired, thin as a whisper, but those eyes, my eyes, sparkling with life. You're pregnant, she says, voice cracking, and I guide her hand to feel my baby kick. David steps forward, and Clara gasps. David? We tell her everything, how her storage unit led me to her, how we found each other. She cries, says, I never stopped looking for you. We name my daughter Lily Clara, after her and her mom, Margaret, whose letters started it all. Now, we're a family, Lily, Clara, and David, living in his big old house in Columbus. Clara's fighting, stronger every day, rocking Lily in that chair we got back from Henry. That $20 bid? It wasn't just a gamble. It was fate pulling me to my roots. I'm thinking of starting a business, digging through storage units, finding lost stories for others. But here's the thing, what if I hadn't raised that paddle? Would I have found them? Would you take that chance, betting $20 on a hunch? Drop a comment. Tell me, have you ever stumbled into something life-changing by accident? Or would you walk away from a junk unit like the pros did? Let's talk about it.